up, people? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, and before we get into chapter 542, I hadn't even read it yet, but I just want to tell you guys, see, on the last volume they had the popularity poll, right? Guess who's the highest rated female character out of One Piece? Sure as hell wasn't Nico Robin. It was Nami. That just shows you, like, the Japanese fans, as at this point in the story, they're all brilliant. They understand. You got Nico Robin down here, and you got Nami up here. It's the way things go. So, with that being said, we'll be getting into the review. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 542. And I really love that shot at the end of the chapter where you have Jinbei, you have Luffy, and you have Crocodile. They teamed up. They took out all of the jailer beasts with one shot. And just the amount of attention to detail that you get in that one scene there. I really love Oda's artwork there. I mean, from the shading that he did as far as with coloring stuff in, to just the facial expressions, to the background, to the small things like just like the lines over the knuckles and stuff. Like, this was really good, man. This was really good. This is a really good scene, and I can only imagine, you know, when this chapter came out, this was probably one of the chapters that a lot of the people on DeviantArt did like the line arts for, because that's just so, that's completely wicked right there. Now, got to get something out of the way, you know, before I go any further into the chapter. I have to just kind of point out, man, like, you know, if you're new, the way I do things is I read the manga volumes first, and then once I get to a certain point, I'll look up certain scenes in the anime. That way I can see if, oh, I might have said this name wrong. I might have said this name wrong. So I have been saying Impel Down wrong. I thought it was Impel Down. And so, hey, I apologize for that. You know, this isn't the first time I've done this. You know, if you guys are familiar, when I first started, I kept saying Zolo because that's how the Viz manga has it. And I didn't know that it was Zoro. And that was a translation error on Viz's part. And it's something similar here where I'm reading through it and I don't want to spoil myself, so I wait till I get to what I feel is the halfway mark of the arc, and then I kind of stop and I look certain things up and I make corrections, you know, after that. So that being said, let's get right back into this chapter, man. I love what Oda's doing here, where he's showing that even though Blackbeard has joined the world government, he's still moving to his own tune. And it might appear as if the world government's going to have two problems on their hands. First, the warlords, we've already seen it with Boa Hancock. They still dance to the beat of their own drum, and you can't really trust them. And I'm sure there's a contingency plan in place for if the seven warlords go against them, but at the same time, the fact that they're calling on them to help them with Whitebeard, it shows you that they've gotten to a point where they're pretty dependent on the seven warlords. Even if it's just to, you know, run a few islands here or there, they're still dependent. And so that sets up an opportunity for too much power to be in their balance. You know, it makes me wonder what possibly could happen if, with the information they have, if all the seven warlords join together. And I know, like, the admirals are supposed to be super strong. Since the 7-on-3, I would think at some point that, given all of their powers and information, that the balance of power would shift towards the pirates. But I mean, at the same time, these admirals have been built up like this for a reason. So I'm interested to see where that's going. But just the fact that Blackbeard is rebelling and openly rebelling, it shows you that Blackbeard might have something else to do. Like, we already have this potential war going on where you have Whitebeard versus the world government, and now you have Luffy as an X factor, where Luffy really doesn't have a side in this. And it'd be the same thing with Blackbeard. You know, Blackbeard might haul off and do his own thing. So it's interesting to see where Oda's going to take this, man, because we could potentially have 4 storylines for this war between the world government and Whitebeard. And, you know, that's something I have my eye on, because it's really hard to juggle I'd say it's really hard to juggle one main story and several subplots all at the same time, where they're all kind of flowing in the same direction, and then to tie it up nicely, but to have multiple main plots going as well as subplots. Gonna be interesting to see how Oda pulls this off. Now, I also like what you see with Magellan. And if you guys haven't caught on, I kept calling him the Warden because I hadn't seen any of the dub scenes yet. So I didn't want to kind of butcher his name because I was looked at and I said, it might be Magellan, but I'm not sure. And that's exactly what I heard when I looked at the anime clip. I don't know if this is a four kids clip or what. If I remember, I'll leave a clip to what I watch so you guys can tell me if that's the Funimation dub or if that's the 4Kids dub. I'm not sure which one it is. But what I thought was really cool is the fact that Magellan, Buggy says, hey, this guy plays dirty. And it's just like, dude, you're Buggy the Clown. Like, you didn't write the playbook on playing dirty, but you own several copies of it. You know, with books, you got the first edition, second edition, third edition, fourth edition. Buggy's got all of them from A to Z. Like, Buggy knows just about every trick as far as playing dirty. So the fact that they're sealed off on level 2 and Magellan says, like, hey, I've already taken care of the fodder here. I'm going to work my way down. You just try to survive. And then while all of this is going on, you got the original head jailer. He's being let out, and this dude's trapped on level 6, so you know he's bad news. And he takes his sword as soon as he gets it back, and he just starts dicing dudes up, man. I thought that was so hilarious because it's like Magellan tells him, like, dude, you're on reprieve from death row. Like, it is what it is. And it just shows you this dude was complete savage. And what I love about this is the fact that you got Blackbeard up top. I'm guessing Blackbeard is going to be coming here to try to fight Luffy because, you know, back, I think, during the Jaya arc, I believe it was Jaya, where Blackbeard expressed some interest in trying to, you know, find Luffy, and he had a ship and all that. So, you know, okay, met like in the ocean. So I'm guessing Blackbeard's coming here for Luffy. Meanwhile, you got Luffy and Crocodile and Ivankov and Mr. 2. They're fighting their way up. Ivankov, I'm guessing he used the form of hockey because he looks at it's not the Jailer Beast, it's the Blue Gory. He looks at the Blue Gory and it looks like he kind of winked or something and it kind of just flew out. So I'm guessing that's what it is because they just got sprawled all over the place, and one of the jailers for Impel Down is like, I don't get it, what is he? And he's just got this classic rape face on. And I'm starting to like Ivankov a little more, man. Like, I thought, you know, it was a little wacky and stuff when he was first introduced, and when he turned that dude into a chick, that was so hilarious, man. That was so hilarious. But what was also pretty interesting is the fact that, you know, as they're fighting through, you have the Jailer Beast show up, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Man, Luffy doesn't even hesitate. He's like gear 3, and he goes right in. Like, no fucks given. Like, Luffy goes right in. And what I thought was really cool about all this is the fact that as they're preparing to fight Crocodile, it's just like, weaklings. As soon as I saw that, man, I'm like, see, this is why I like this dude Crocodile, man. This dude is so savage. This dude, like, just savage. Like, little comments like that. That's why I really liked him. Like, if you guys remember, back during the Alabasta arc, when he and Luffy fight the first time, and Crocodile's just got his hook inside of Luffy, he's talking trash to him before he lets him go. And just on that, I remember I saw... Now, I know this was 4Kids, but I saw, like, that line there, and, like, Crocodile was just like, you're doo-doo. I'm like, the hell is this? You know, I can't say the F word, man. You know, YouTube's being funny right now. You know, if you curse too much in the video, if you make too many sexually explicit videos and all that, you get a little ding on your channel, and then it just starts randomly flagging all of your shit. So I'm a... kind of scale it back a little bit, but because these are unscripted and because I don't have any bullet points or anything like that up, I'm just talking to you guys about what I just read. It's going to come out sooner or later, so, you know, chances are I'm still going to be unfiltered. I don't give a fuck. So what was really cool about that, though, is the fact that Crocodile is wasting no time in getting back into character. And what's also interesting is you have the Fleet Admiral Sengoku, and what he's, you know, learning is that Blackbeard is at Impel Down. So now it's just like, I don't see how Magellan stays in power, because you have the first person break into Impel Down, and he's about to break out in Luffy. You have Blackbeard, one of the new seven warlords, going into Impel Down. Like it's like his whole thing went to hell in the matter of a few hours. I mean, so this is gonna be interesting to see what happens with him. And Oda might have been foreshadowing it with the underwater and talking about well, when Magellan gets kicked out and when I become the next warden. I mean, it'd be pretty hilarious if Oda just had this comical character declaring all this stuff and then bam, what happened? He becomes the next warden. I mean, we see it with Usopp. Usopp tells all these tall tales and then bam, they come true. And I also didn't realize this, but I saw how Jinbei is telling Luffy like, I don't know how strong I'll be on land if only I was in water. And I'm going, okay, so let me get this straight. We know the fishmen are super powerful. I think they're 10 times stronger than normal humans, either 10 times or 100 times. Whatever the line was in Arlong Park. That's been like 2 years since I read that. So I've forgotten the specifics on that. But if it's 10 times, even if it's 10 times, let's just lowball and say they're 10 times stronger than normal humans. How strong would Jinbei be in the water? Because in Arlong Park, you had that one scene where, Arlong is, underneath the water and he's attacking from there. And so, I mean, it's interesting to see where that's going. It only makes sense because they are from underwater. And if that's the case, it's making me wonder where to scale Whitebeard at this point. Because Whitebeard was strong enough that he just went there and said, from this day forward, this is my island. You guys ain't doing nothing here. So, I mean, a lot of interesting stuff going on right here, man. A lot of interesting stuff. And I'm getting excited because it's looking like Luffy is being set up to not only fight Magellan, but we could be seeing him fight, not Magellan. Luffy's going to fight Magellan, but also fight Whitebeard. That's going to be interesting because Ace is in the shackles. And, Ace, Blackbeard, gonna be interesting to see how Luffy responds when he finds out that Blackbeard basically handed his brother over to the world government. Cause that's how I read it. Because Blackbeard was the last person to fight Ace. And speaking of Ace, I thought that was pretty depressing, man. They're telling him like, hey, get a good look at the sun, dude. I know your brother broke in, whoop-de-doo, but get a good look at the sun. This will be the last time you see it. The next time you'll be on the scaffold, you'll have shackles on you, and you'll be executed. It's like Oda's really going to kill off Ace, man. So I'm hoping if this happens, it's a beautiful death. And I know, that might trigger some people. I don't really give a fuck. If you get triggered by me saying a beautiful death, chances are you ain't mature enough to watch my videos anyway. What I mean by a beautiful death is as long as it's executed right and the death has an impact on the interactions with other characters and it isn't something that just pushes the plot along. And Oda's done this a few times where certain things happen just to progress the plot, but at the same time he's got more than enough moments where it feels as if the different characters and some of the things that happen, Oda's very meticulous, everything's planned out, but it feels like some of the things that happen and some of the character interactions are more Oda allowing these characters to not be the leaf that's in the water that tends to just go with the stream. That would be a boring character. That's a subplot simply for the sake of progressing the main plot. Whereas what Oda does with some of his characters, and this is actually the mark of a good writer, is Oda treats some of his characters like the rock that you throw into the water. Fuck that. He treats them like the boulder that you throw into the water. What happens when you put a leaf in a river current? It gets swept away. So that's your cookie cutter basic writing. Main character meets character B helps main character get to the next level. That type of stuff, okay? Cookie cutter. Now, what I'm referring to is throwing the boulder in the water. What happens when you do that? You throw the boulder in the water, and all of a sudden, the current gets disrupted. Even if it's just for a little bit. It gets disrupted, And in some cases, if the boulder is big enough, the water splits apart, but eventually it funnels and gets back on track. And that's how you have good characters. A good character is somebody that is acting independent of the plot, has their own dreams and purposes. They march to the beat of their own drum. They have their own will, that type of stuff. So, I mean, Oda, I'm really interested to see how he does that, because we could see a scenario where if Ace dies, it pulls Luffy temporarily off of his main goal, and he has his own struggles to deal with. And so that'd be really interesting to see where that's going. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching in the video, guys. Have a